Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2025 Alabama Christian Athletic Association Varsity 8-Man Football Championship. On behalf of the ACAA and 8-Man Extreme, we thank you for attending at Tuscaloosa Christian School in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and tuning in on YouTube to join us in celebrating a great season of athletic excellence. Let's meet the two teams participating in tonight's final contest of 2025. They finished the regular season as the number 2 seed with a 7-3 overall record and won in the semifinal 56-21 against Cornerstone Christian. Give it up for tonight's away team and the defending conference champions, the Jacksonville Christian Academy Thunder. They finished the regular season as the number 1 seed with a 9-2 overall record and won in the semifinal 42-0 against Tuscaloosa Christian. Give it up for tonight's home team, the Russell Christian Academy Warriors. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for a word of prayer from public address announcer Daniel Lancaster.
Father, thank you so much for this opportunity you've given these boys and these fans and these coaches and the accolades that they've made to this championship game. I pray, God, that tonight you would be honored and glorified in everything that is said and done this evening. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
We ask that you continue to stand and keep your hats removed to honor the United States of America and to honor those who support our freedom at home and abroad with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. Heading to the center of the field now are the captains for tonight's contest. For Jacksonville Christian, number 11, senior Noah Lee, and number 78, senior Preston Straughter. For Russell Christian Academy, number 1, senior Carter Simmons, and number 75, senior Tyler Hearn. And now we turn it down to tonight's referee for the coin toss, Eric Owens.
He had his volume turned down all the way. You had your volume turned down all the way on the board.
I just did when I put it down my headset. Eli, I take it our audio is muted on the broadcast, but you can hear us. Okay, good. Muted on the broadcast, then we're good. Yes, you're good. You're good. All right, Blake, headset audio is going up for you. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right,
I
good.
can hear you.
Okay.
One.
We welcome you to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for the 2025 edition of the ACAA High School 8-Man Football Championship. Also a part of the Christian Football Association, a rematch of last year's championship that ended in a one-score contest between the Thunder of Jacksonville Christian Academy out of Jacksonville, Alabama, and the Warriors of Russell Christian Academy out of Meridian, Mississippi. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Blake Biggs. Berkeley Mezzanotte joins us on the sidelines. Proud to be with you in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. A matchup last year in that championship and a regular season matchup as the ball gets touched by the kicking team at about the 49-yard line, and possession will start there for the Warriors pending a signal from the officials, and it looks like they're going to spot it there with great field position for the Thunder to start out here on defense. Blake, we've been on call for many of these CFA Championship games. It's been a tremendous contest over the last 2 years. Hoping we get the same thing tonight as Russell Christian looks to bounce back after losing for the first time in 7 straight seasons.
Yeah, it looks like this one, this matchup this year started with a little spice. A little discussion right there between the refs regarding the onside kick. It didn't look like the kick went far enough. The kicking team touched it first, and then Russell touched it, which then led to Jacksonville recovering on the ball. So there's a little bit of discussion right here on whether, that was the right call or not. But, Spence, this is a if you're looking for an interesting game, especially a championship game, this is the start of one right here.
And we'll get Eric Owens on the first announcement, or they'll try to get him at least. Looks like having communication issues, but Russell Christian, you can see by the signals, they will possess it first on the 49-yard line in Thunder territory. As you said, Blake, an intriguing way to start this out, especially with how great Russell Christian's offense has been all year.
Yes, and that's the right call right there, Spence. Like from my angle, I could see it. I understand the refs, they can't see the play full 100% of the time, so they just had to talk it over and make this one right here. We're going to see this Russell offense, see what they can do against the 101st ranked defense in the South in 8-man.
And to start things off, Carter Simmons will be at the command, one of the all-league players in the CFA. He was in the backfield there. He was actually in the command of the offense, was junior Bo Morphice. As you get a gain of about 6 yards there, and the junior has been incredible. Not only is he on the all-league roster, he's well-deserved of it. About 1,100 passing yards, 15 passing touchdowns. He can also do it on the ground with 711 yards, leading the team as well in 7 rushing touchdowns as he sits under center with 2 backs behind him. And he'll hand it off to his senior teammate in Carter Simmons, who's got a breakaway. Carter Simmons is going to take it in, and not even 40 seconds into this contest, it's a touchdown for the Warriors.
Yeah, a great physical run right there. I didn't mean to jinx Jacksonville Christian with that comment about their defense. But we'll see if we can get the replay right here. Just great physical run, and he just bowls over the defender, and he trots in for 6, takes advantage of the open field. We talked to Coach Moore before the game. They love to run kind of like that under center, kind of eye kind of offense right there, Spence. So, yeah, they kind of line up under center in the splits too.
Here's a 2-point conversion attempt, and it is unsuccessful. Tripped up in the backfield. Trying to go for a rush there was Carter Simmons, as he's done this stuff all night long. And that'll bring us to a 6-0 advantage to start out this CFA Championship game. Mentioned it in the open, Blake. This is the first year that you have Jacksonville Christian defending the title of the CFA in a long time. Russell Christian, such a great history and a great dominance in the CFA with 7 straight years. 2 different coaches in that point. But we're talking with Coach Tim Moore this year. He mentioned that last year gave him a sort of reality check and saying that it brought us to reality and let us know what can happen in that we know how we can actually take a loss, and it gave them a sense of humility as they headed into 2025.
Hey, just keep going. We're trying to get perfectly set
good
up.
things can come to an end, Spence. Obviously, last year the story was, Jacksonville Christian was the team to break the streak. Obviously, Jacksonville is rolling in as reigning champions. Can they start another streak? Or can Russell start another streak of winning? We'll see right here as Jacksonville is going to respond.
Deep back to receive for Russell Christian there. It's a carry and stopped back at the 25-yard line. And Jace Wood shutting things down on the return.
Yeah, good physical hit right there by number 7, Jace Wood.
Just
gets back to the returner and just in his grill right there. Great hit. And that puts Jacksonville in kind of an awkward position on offense. Of course, I talked earlier about their defense. They rank 49th in total offense. That's their offensive rating in the South in 8-man. So
Wilkerson on the kickoff return got stopped up there. One of the CFA All-League players, a rare occurrence for that to happen, and we'll see this offense go on first. Now, certainly not a lot of public statistics available for the Thunder, but regardless, don't make any mistake about it. This team competes. You talked to Coach Tommy Miller. He mentioned that they've got a good competition side as Noah Lee, his grandson, tosses it on the left side, high up, shelf, incomplete, intended for Wilkerson.
Yeah, and that pass right there just had a little bit too much English right there. It was kind of an Aaron Rodgers-esque throw, just kind of throws it over top of the defenders and almost drops it in the bucket. Again, a little bit too much English right there. We'll see if the Jacksonville State commit can rally his team to another 6 points on the board.
Had several offers in the Division I NCAA level and chose to stay right at home at Jacksonville Christian. Might be contributing as well to that, and one of their assistant coaches on the staff was a former place kicker for JCA.
Speaking about some
gets to stick around here as well. So Noah Lee also on that CFA All-League team. He's got to scramble with heavy pressure, and he's going to be brought down for a sack. Carter Simmons had lead the team on 7 sacks on the year. He's got number 8 in 2025.
Yeah, Russell Christian's just coming out of the gate literally swinging. Big touchdown run earlier, the big hit on the kickoff, and a sack right there. I mean, Noah Lee was just running for his life right there. A little bit of break. I don't know if it was a communication breakdown or if Russell Christian just brought the blitz. But, hey, Noah Lee can sling it now. This third down is nothing. We saw him in pregame. He was throwing it this distance in pregame. We'll see if he can respond right here.
Lee has got Jack Harris to his right, another one of the players being honored at the post-game ceremonies. Tipped at the line, somehow caught the ball, but may have wanted to just bat that down for an incomplete as Carson Niswander got the tackle for loss.
And Spence, if I were a betting man, I would have never put a dime on Noah Lee's first reception thrown is to himself. That's kind of like the Marcus Mariota. You remember that a couple years ago when he?
I do.
Yeah.
Or even more recently last year, Josh Allen near the goal line where he caught his own pass for a touchdown.
Right.
And we have a 4th and about a quarter of the field here as deep to punt will be Noah Lee. And this will bounce to about the 36 36, maybe the 35-yard line is where they'll spot it. And for the second drive in a row, the Russell Warriors will have great field advantage and not much to drive down the field.
They're going fast.
And yeah, we're gonna keep it right here. Russell Christian, they love to run out of this kind of under center split look right here. They love to run it, but hey, they can throw it through the air on the occasion. I'm trying to think. Morphice is definitely a threat through the air as they line up in the Notre Dame formation.
Carry up the middle, and a good burst of speed there from the junior Bo Morphice. Leads the team in rushing yards and rushing attempts, and he's got a chunk gain of about 9.
Yeah, Russell, great run right there. Again, they switched up the look on offense and just power through the defense right there. Great look, Spencer.
Bo Morphice does it in the air and on the ground himself, leader of this offense, and he's got it again in a gap on the outside. Bo Morphice, here he goes again for touchdown number 2 of the game.
And Spence, that's the second outside run to the left side of that field for a touchdown tonight. Granted, the game is still young, but I think Russell has found a weakness in this Jacksonville defense.
Yeah, the Thunder in their last matchup on September 20th had face off against Russell Christian, and last year that CFA Championship game ending 36-27, and this team rivalry is at a 4-4 record since 2020, and it was a 38-0 shutout back on September 26th.
Yeah,
and that really was the determinant of the number 1 and number 2 seeds, which determines who you face off against in the playoffs. But neither of these teams had too much of a struggle as we get to a timeout. First one charged for the half. We'll see if we get the signal from the official. And looks like it'll be a charge timeout of the half for, I believe, Russell Christian, the first one. And for the first time tonight, we'll hear from the third member of our crew in Berkeley Mezzanotte. Berkeley,
go. Your first timeout of the half.
We got a little bit of a family affair going on the Jacksonville Christian side, so I got to talk to Coach Miller's daughter, Katie, before the game, and she said, I help my dad out a lot, but it's really my mom that is the backbone of this family. She cooks home-cooked meals for us every day. I take care of all the women's sports while my dad takes care of all the men's sports on this side, but, we're all a family affair over here. Back to you guys.
Really is a family affair in Jacksonville Christian. That's what Coach Miller told us earlier this week, in that he's got his grandson on the team. He's been around for 38 years, a jack of all trades, if you will, or a Tommy of all trades, in that he's the principal, he's the coach for baseball and basketball, as we have a 2-point conversion attempt here for Russell Christian. Dime across the middle and a good catch there by 15. Miles Coleman to make up for the 2-point conversion missed on the first drive. That brings us to 16-0 to start off here in this CFA title game.
One.
Low boot kick by Miles Coleman, as this will go out of bounds just at about the 1-yard line, and they will move it forward, or at least they should. The beanbag thrown about at the 6-7 yard line, and they should move it up here, waiting on officials to have a signal here. I guess there was a touch of the ball before it went out of bounds, so a dangerous position to start out here for the Thunder, as it's a 14-0 score with that 2-point conversion being missed on the first touchdown.
And yes, Spence, that's a kicker's dream right there. On a kickoff, you pin them inside the 1. I mean, hey, you got to buy him dinner after that, Spence. Special teams, special plays, special players. Yep.
A lot of special players mixed in throughout these respective teams, and we'll get into that as the night progresses. As the fake handoff, another dart across the right side. That's the 5, Dawson Wilkerson.
If you haven't spoken on the regular season matchup, maybe speak on that a little bit.
Actually, Burns is what they roll on 5 there. I believe Wilkerson wearing number 6. We'll get a roster clarification on that in a moment, as that's Burns on the intended target, incomplete for now, a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, right there, RPO just did not go in favor of him. Burns with the drop right there. A lot of times as a receiver, sometimes you focus more on the run instead of the catch, and that's just kind of what happened there. Drop ball. Noah Lee still searching for his first pass completion today.
2nd and 10, trying that same play, too high upstairs for the junior in Bryson Dowdy.
And Noah Lee, I don't know if it's pregame jitters or what's going on right here, but he's just got to dial it in. He's had a couple throws tonight where he's just overshot his man, and now he's staring at a 3rd down inside his red zone.
In this regular season matchup, a shutout in favor of the Warriors, 38-0 back in late September. Coach Miller before the game telling us that they got us pretty good regular season matchup, and they just hope for a good contest, and especially early on here, one of those you have to get something going on offense. As the Thunder try to do that here, Lee going to air it out deep on the right side and trying to look for a flag. He's not going to get it. That was Dowdy on the outside, as well as looked like they had Wilkerson in the area too, but good coverage by the defense of Russell Christian.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Dowdy was kind of playing for the flag instead of the ball a little bit there, but nonetheless, over the top, down the middle, just could not find a man. If I'm Noah Lee and I'm Coach Miller right now, I'm getting back in this huddle. I'm like, hey guys, we've got to click. We've got to find something. We got to change something. We got to make an adjustment to stay in this game.
It's so tough to make these adjustments against a Russell defense, as you got a better punt there. It'll take a little bit of a Jacksonville bounce, and will make its way to the 39-yard line. And third straight drive that these Russell Christian Warriors have less than half of the field to march.
Yeah, and Spence, one thing I kind of noticed, I don't know if you remember last year or not, but there was a lot of times this Jacksonville team has game managed Russell very well. But this year, like, for example, last year, Russell started like 90% of their drives on the other side of their own 50. Russell hasn't not started on the other side of their own 50. It's just been on their side mostly. So, yeah, got to manage the game better.
Quick toss. Miles Coleman trying to get space outside. Tackled Dowdy.
Blake, add ways that they can
improve.
They can do better managing the game. Yeah.
Up to the 30
Brought it down
line,
on a gain of about 9 yards for a 2nd and 1.
Yeah, right there, just out, little swing pass out. Looked kind of like a little tunnel screen, but Jacksonville, they're just letting everything outside go pretty much for a big distance.
Another carry left side for Russell Christian. That'll get the first down to about the 24-yard line. Good carry. Emery Watson, 14 total carries heading into the championship game, 163 rushing yards.
Yeah, Jacksonville right now, I don't know if they need to send like a zone, somebody shade 2 linebackers outside and maybe send a guy up the middle. But see right here, Russell's kind of spreading it out because they know, hey, we can run efficiently or we can pass efficiently if we get it out in space.
Air it out up the middle, overthrew the intended target of Watson. Watson on his stat line has not received a catch all year, so it would have been a new situation there for the young man, and incomplete there for a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do right there if you're Jacksonville Christian. Nothing to the sides, nothing to the sidelines, and you do force a one-on-one downfield, but if I'm Jacksonville Christian, I'm wanting to test Bo Morphice's arm right now.
Here's Morphice. They won't test his arm here. And would they really need to as he weaves through all these tackles, finally brought down with a grip of the jersey and assistance, a combined tackle between Cates and Wilkerson to prevent another touchdown.
Yeah, Morphice right there. He just weaves outside in. Great trickery right there. Great run right there by Morphice. Using his legs. He's been a X factor on offense through the run game.
Tell you, Bo Morphice, you mentioned about testing his arm. They haven't had an issue with it for the most part all year. 67 completions out of 106 attempts. Pretty much any time he's getting a completion or with his receivers as he gets a rush up the middle, trying to pull him down by the jersey, but they won't get him before he gets to the goal line. Bo Morphice has got all three in a hat trick, and it's not even halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, what a dominant performance by Bo Morphice. I mean, he's literally making it look like Madden out there. I mean, he's just bouncing in and then bouncing out. He's just juking whatever way he wants.
We're going to go to break right after this, fellas.
Coach Moore mentioned about Bo Morphice earlier this week that he's a good game manager. Compared him as a pitching coach on the field, and how he helps me make adjustments for the things he sees on the field. Has a lot of trust in his leader, Junior, as he tests his arm here for a 2-point conversion. Connects with the senior, Decker McKenzie.
Yeah, that's cash money right there. Easy throw from Morphice.
All right, let's go to break.
Let's get you another update down on the sidelines with Berkeley Mezzanotte.
Break.
We'll get that on the other side of the break here from Tuscaloosa. In fact, 22-0 with 7:14 left to go.
Go.
Starting to mirror what this regular season matchup looked like early on. Still plenty of game time left as these Thunder players out of Jacksonville, Alabama look to get something going here. Right side, Jack Harris, the sophomore, gets to about the 31 on the return. A combined stop between Simmons and Burns.
Yeah, right there, physical hit by Simmons and Burns. I mean, Russell right now, they just
Blake,
look
talk
hungry
about
for
keys
it.
that Jacksonville's offense can do to get in the end zone.
And for Jacksonville right here, man, y'all just need to spread it out. I mean, it mainly starts with Noah Lee and his receivers getting on the same page because it looks like there's some sort of disconnect right now. Noah Lee's just kind of out-throwing his receivers, throwing it too long. I know this kid can throw the ball. I know he can sling it across the yard, but we've got to rile it in. I want you to show off your arm talent, but I want you to make a good pass too. Let's get some completions down there, Noah Lee. Let's show off your talent.
Yeah,
Perfect, Blake. Perfect.
Through October 19th, 15 for 25 and 202 passing yards on the season for the young man. As he scrambles, another air out down the middle. He couldn't get the connection. Trying to pull it there was 6 in Wilkerson, and good coverage for no flag.
I can't even complain about that one there, Spencer. That was a perfect throw. Just had him right over that back shoulder. Drop it in the bucket. And it looks like there was a little bit of contact between him and the defender down there. But, yeah, just unfortunate that he couldn't rile that in.
One of those you don't necessarily see often between the Wilkerson brothers, Brody and Dawson, the freshman and the junior, part of this all-league team. Noah Lee has his work cut out for him here on 2nd and 10. Under pressure, got another one slung across the middle and incomplete. Looked like good coverage there by Colton Frapp as Bryson Dowdy, the intended target, couldn't pull it in.
Yeah, it looks like Dowdy just kind of tripped up on the route. I know the field conditions down there aren't just the greatest. Looks like they cut it freshly a couple days before. But, yeah, it just kind of looks like a trip up right there. And Noah Lee, you know, if 6 minutes into the first quarter and he's still not had his first completion, that, I mean, if I'm a betting man, that's not – I would have never saw that coming.
Also rained here earlier today in the Tuscaloosa-Cottondale area, so may have that effect on the field a little bit as well.
Looks like Russell's going to send the house.
They do send the pressure there. Here goes Carter Simmons with the sack. Again, he led the team. He's got 9 total on the season after adding his second sack with that one.
Yeah, Simmons right there. He scored the first touchdown earlier in the game, and now he has a sack. Correct me if I'm wrong, Spencer. He's had a few tackles on kickoff that's been pretty physical as well. Solid work so far, young man.
Mentioned that the last couple of plays that Noah Lee had his work cut out for him. This offensive line also has had their work cut out for him. Such a tough matchup against Russell's defensive side. Lee gets the punt off with a high up attempt there. Colton Frapp is going to try the return. He's got men to weave through. Gets past the last tackler. Colton Frapp to the house on special teams.
Colton Frapp returns the punt.
Yeah, look. Yeah, that's a great run right there as there's a flag on the field towards the left side, between the 20 and the 30.
Spencer, turn Blake up.
The officials are going to discuss it here as they make a determination on who is the penalty committer, and if it's any major issue. It looks like a holding back on the return team. So Frapp's touchdown wiped off of the board with 5:59 left to go in the first.
Yeah, and Spence, despite that, Russell was still not started from the opposite side of the 50 in this game. And, it's another solid opportunity for them to go up even more. And a big problem with that is Jacksonville's just not moving the ball. They're trying to go through the air, which, I don't blame you. You got a, D1 commit at quarterback. But, it wouldn't hurt to, pound the ball down the middle.
Let's keep going, folks.
Might be something they can consider trying as they get into the rest of the game, but at least for now it's moved back to the 39-yard line for a first down. And again, another drive here for the Warriors.
Was there something said on the sideline? Because it looked like Whitecap said he kind of looked over and did the penalty motion. I don't know if there's something said or not, Spence.
Maybe a sideline warning on one of the assistants or something along those lines.
That's why I kind of paused. I was like, hang on, something's going on down here.
Could also be the case. You got some people who are passionate on the sideline out of the regular and assistant coaching staff. And that
just so y'all know, Berkeley's doing a hit at the start of the second, just to make y'all aware.
As this goes in motion. Morphice, another air out on the right side, and it's almost intercepted. Bryson Dowdy almost had his third interception of the year, but couldn't climb the ladder.
Yeah, I like the idea of a little post route, but maybe a little bit too deep for Morphice's liking, and just kind of threw it up into space, and they almost came away with the turnover right there. That's what I'm talking about for Jacksonville's offense. If you can test his arm, you have a shot at stopping this physical Russell Christian offense. Take the ball off the ground. Take the ball off the ground and make him go through the air. And, there's three things that can happen when you pass the ball. Only one of them is good, Spence.
Would have had an effect on his 114.8 QBR if that had resulted in a different manner. But incomplete, and they'll have Morphice run it up the middle, which takes about three
Blake, speaking of what
defensive players for Jacksonville
to stop Russell.
Get the stop there on Morphice, but he still gains 8 yards.
Yeah, right there, like I said, Jacksonville obviously needs to take it out, make them go through the air, but obviously, they're running up the gut and they're kind of bouncing it out. I would love to see their linebackers kind of shade out and then have their defensive linemen kind of pinch in through the A-gap. Looks like they're running, three, maybe four down linemen. If they can all go A and then have every linebacker, which it looks like they may be trying to do here, shade out to contain, play little contain, they may be able to hold this Russell Christian offense to minimal damage.
Tried to hold them at least thus far, but it may be tough here if Morphice gets an opening, wrapped up by two Russell opposition players, specifically the Thunder defense, as they do move the chains for a first down to the 25.
Yeah, that's a tough ask right there when you're going up against a Russell Christian offensive line. They got some big boys down there, Spencer.
Yeah, a lot of guys are big on the line as Parker Wade, the junior, heads off for Jacksonville Christian. We got at least on the line for Russell Christian, Brewer Larkin, the sophomore, Brogan Knoll, the senior. We also have around there Tyler Hearn as well. Larkin, Hearn, and Knoll, all league players. Deep toss left side, overthrew his target, and Andrew Cole, the senior, leads the team on catches, and just an overshot there from Bo Morphice.
And I think what could be successful for Morphice and for Coach Moore, if they dug into their playbook a little bit, I would love to see. I feel like a Morphice play-action boot would be huge for this Russell Christian offense, especially considering Russell Christian loves to pound the ball down the throat. If you can trick a Jacksonville Christian into thinking, hey, we're going A, and actually popping over to the post route, could be deadly. Could be deadly, Spence.
2nd and 10, and whistles for a false start. It's Eric Owens, our referee.
Flag on the play is a false
Pal Mike
start
having
against
some
Russell,
challenges
second down and
right now.
15.
We'll get that fixed at halftime, but false start to move it back. It helps when you know the official signals as well.
Right.
A lot of other places around the high school football world don't have lapel mics. Use the privilege of it, so most of the announcers have to know this stuff anyways.
Spence, some would say down here it just means more, right?
In the backdrop of the red-hot University of Alabama Crimson Tide, and have their matchup tomorrow against LSU. A lot of high schools around here had threats of severe weather today and moved their games back to Thursday. Playoff season, the AHSAA. Morphice across the left side, incomplete through the hands of Decker McKenzie. He only had one catch on the year.
Blake, speak on how
and
they need
now
to get a stop.
1 for 2, at least if you count those 2 attempts.
Yeah, and that pass right there just looked like a little bit too high and behind right now. But Jacksonville Christian is in a solid position to get the stop right here. You know, down 22-0. Hey, you have Noah Lee, who's not looked super sharp right now, but I mean, wild card. You know, could be a dark horse to come back in this game. Big ensuing play right here for the JCA defense.
You notice we're even talking about big momentum-setting plays. It's only the first quarter. Morphice on a scramble. Quick toss, finds his man, Andrew Cole. He leads the team in receiving touchdowns, but won't get it quite there as he's stopped at about the 4-yard line by Wilkerson.
Yeah, and seconds away from a sack right there. Great read by Bo Morphice. Finds his man, you know, puts it on the money. And Cole, you know, great run, great physical run by him too. Looks like he ran out of gas towards the end and just kind of had to sacrifice himself. But still, nonetheless, puts them inside the 5-yard line. We're right at it.
A big gain on a long 3rd down play. And now a 1st and goal at about the 6. Morphice up the middle. Denied is the rusher by this Jacksonville defense. Carried up the middle. And brings it up a 2nd and goal.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking right there, Spence. Just A gap, and they kind of spread their linebackers. And I saw DN go out too, you know, just preparing for that, you know, chance that they go outside on a pass or run. But solid stop right there. Let's see if they can get 2-3 more.
And off on the other side, another touchdown, but this time it's by a different Warrior. Jace Wood has his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season.
Yeah, a little bit of trickery on that option right there. That kind of reminded me of Georgia Tech in that Paul Johnson kind of rush option right there. A little bit of trickery, turn the back, and a little bit of spin, go in the end zone right there. Great play call right there by Coach Moore.
Great touchdown for the junior. 2nd rushing touchdown of the year. And chance to make it 30-0 as here goes Miles Coleman on the extra point attempt. Load up to make it 29-0. As it's loaded up high through the uprights and
Let's
good.
go to break.
3:34 left to go in the first quarter. 29-0. All Russell Christian. Not at the end quite yet of the first quarter.
1.
Got clarity for the Thunder side for Jacksonville. Arnez Hurd wearing number 6. As this Russell Christian offense, this gets touched by Arnez Hurd on the kickoff return, but he'll at least pick up the ball, trying to get past the second player. Couldn't get saved by the jersey pull of Brett Gibson, and Jacksonville will try to get back to work on offense.
Yeah, another, Jacksonville drive that starts up in not great position right here. Let's see if Coach Miller has made any adjustments or, if there's been a come into Jesus meeting between Noah Lee and his receiving room.
About 3:28 left to go in this first quarter. You've got almost a 30-point lead as we get along here in this 2025 ACAA Championship contest. A competition that 8-Man Extreme has been proud to broadcast
Mr. Maybe
for about 5-6
the
years.
mercy rule. Maybe. Consider it.
This is where Jacksonville Christian certainly needs to tighten things up, and right on cue is a false start there. Now 2 penalties through the game that have been false starts, 1 for each side. One other thing to keep in mind that the Thunder are trying to avoid. Still plenty of time on this. There is a 35-point mercy rule in high school that counts as well in Alabama High School Athletic Association, but does not occur until the second half. So still, again, plenty of time as we're to another one-sided contest. This was 38-0 in the regular season.
Yeah.
And we're about 9 points short of that right now. So as we've been mentioning, it's tough against this Russell Christian defense, but you have to cook up some different things on offense to try and get the better of the backside.
Yeah, and Spence, from that 38-0 game, I know Noah Lee still had that hurt ankle.
Right.
So you got to kind of wonder, is that kind of hindering him today? I probably not, as we see a flag.
Maybe a delay of game or some sort of stoppage here. The officials will clarify. And it is a delay of game on the offense, even with the penalty, so some time to figure these things out. Both head coaches, offensive coordinators for their respective teams. Tommy Miller, also the defensive coordinator for Jacksonville Christian. But both head coaches feeling comfortable on their offensive coordination duties. As we have a 1st and long here. Make it a 1st and 20, and another flag that'll be thrown on the field here. Looks like some more movement from Jacksonville Christian.
Yeah, and Jacksonville Christian's just got to clean it up right now on offense because, there's been a lot of mistakes right now. Obviously, the flags and the false starts have been one thing, but, the drop passes. I don't think we've seen a single run today. There's been some offensive line woes. I think Noah Lee has been sacked, 2 or 3 times already tonight. It's not even the third or second quarter, Spence.
3 straight plays that have been 5-yard penalties. This is now would normally be a 1st and 25, but half the distance. And there's the play they were looking for. Almost losing his balance was Anthony Gooch, and he's got a breakaway. He's got a man coming back behind him. Gooch inside the 40.
Yep, and that is exactly what they need, Spence. First reception. First reception. How many yards was that, Spencer?
Good for a first
at least about 40.
Yeah, 40 yards right there. First pass completion. As we see the little tight end pop right here, he just kind of does like a little wheel route from the other side of the field and just rallies it in. It looks like he almost dropped it, but just carries it in and carries it for a good while. Carries a couple guys with him too, so a lot to carry right there as he is currently carrying the offense, Spencer.
Gooch had 3 catches for 64 yards through their contest on just around October 19th. And he's got another big catch there in this conference championship, airing it out on the right side
Wide
into double
open
coverage. There's the catch made, and Wilkerson, I beg your pardon, that's Arnez Hurd, who's got the first touchdown of the game
go to
for the
break after
Thunder.
the 2-point.
Yeah, and Spencer, maybe there was a coming to Jesus meeting between Noah Lee and his receivers. They look sharp right now, and you know what? 29, does not seem like a big number to reach now. Looks like they're clicking on all cylinders. We'll see how again, like I said, the 101st rated defense and 8-man Southern is going to respond.
Toss, right side on the two-pointer. Did he get his feet in?
Yes.
He did. What a catch from Dawson Wilkerson.
All right, Blake, break it down. Let's go to break after Blake.
Yeah,
breaks it
great
down.
little fade route right there, and just drags his feet. Perfect form catch right there, and yeah, great play for the two.
All right, Spencer.
8 points on the board now for the Thunder, down by 21 still in the first quarter. That was the spark that this Jacksonville Christian team needed. And Coach Miller talked about last year in that conference championship. We'll talk about it after this kickoff. It's a high-up kick, picked up at around the 45, and there's some space. That's a touchdown-saving tackle from T.J. Scott. Otherwise, Jace Wood would have broken free.
And Spence, the streak continues. Russell Christian is on the other side, or the positive side of their own 50, or the 50-yard line. Again, they're in a great spot to up the margin of the lead right here. We'll see how they respond. Let's see how Jacksonville Christian kind of game plans, because we saw a couple instances where they tested Morphice's arm, and it kind of it was kind of a mixed bag. It was 50-50. He either killed you or didn't really do anything to you. So we'll see.
First and 10, Russell Christian at the 46-yard line. As this goes for Carter Simmons on the left side, he'll be forced out of bounds with a good combination tackle between Harris and Scott.
Yeah, it looks like just on the field, I'm seeing the linebackers themselves. They're more on their feet than they are downhill. They're really making an effort to get outside with the runner, just kind of forcing them outside. Now, if you're Russell, you kind of see that and your eyes open a little bit. It's like, hey, maybe I could juke a little bit outside and then fake go in, or maybe, play call something like a misdirection right here.
Gain of about 6, and they'll have a sneak from Bo Morphice trying to get free. And it looks like the solution that the Thunder have had is to just grab the jersey and force it to rip if they can't pull him down from there.
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems like, not that they can't tackle, Jacksonville Christian can't, but it's more like they can't tackle Russell Christian. And that's more so a compliment to their strength and size, Spencer. A very well-trained in the weight room program in Mississippi.
And I tell you, Bo Morphice was also a big reason why Russell Christian stayed in the game last year, as Jace Wood, the junior, will go for a couple yards. And it's seeming like now after that touchdown, the Thunder have started to figure things out and make good adjustments on the defensive end.
Yeah, and championship teams seem to do that, Spencer. Obviously, Jacksonville Christian is the reigning champs, but, even though they're down 21, I mean, I don't doubt that they'll, hold Russell Christian, a time or two. As we see the ankle wrap up right there, again, it's the little things you have to adjust to win a football game, especially with a deficit this large, Spence.
And even Coach Moore talked about that earlier this week, saying that Jacksonville Christian is quite capable and they do a super job. As Morphice will go to the left side with a catch, one man to beat, and he does! Andrew Cole with another receiving touchdown.
Yeah, great play right there by Andrew Cole. Just gets him out in space and makes a man miss and powers into the end zone right there. Russell Christian now capitalizing off Jacksonville Christian and seemingly crush momentum, Spencer, for JCA.
Andrew Cole was tied for the team lead in receiving touchdowns at 2 heading into this championship game, but he led the team on completions and receiving yards. He now takes the team lead over Miles Coleman on the receiving end, as the extra point here for Miles Coleman is through the uprights and makes it a 30. That's a 35 to 8 lead. Or I beg your pardon, 36 to 8. That almost looked like making sure. My math is a little bit off tonight. We're not numbers guys up here in the booth, as you go to 36 to 8 with under 40 left to go in the first.
Good.
36 to 8. Arnez Hurd trying to return again on the left side. Gets past one tackler, but is forced out of bounds on his juke attempt. Just outside the 30-yard line, and the Thunder will get back to work.
Yeah, great play right there. Let's see what JCA can do. Obviously, they're 49th in our country. I'm not going to say the country, but 49th in the South in 8-man for offense. And keep in mind, they were missing Noah Lee for a couple weeks. I think 3 weeks out with an ankle injury. So that statistic is kind of skewed a little bit in that regard. Kind of underselling JCA's offense right here. But, you know, like that last touchdown drive, we could see what they're capable of.
What are they capable of here? They're capable of a catch from Brody Wilkerson, the freshman, with an incredible reception to beat Colton Frapp in coverage. And he's got about a 70-yard plus touchdown.
We're just going to keep going.
Yeah, like I said, Spence,
we're just going to go to Berkeley.
You know, they're very, very capable right there. You know, Noah Lee just was not there. There just wasn't some chemistry right there between the two. And that kind of explains the 38-0 loss earlier in the year. JCA, you know, now fighting back after starting out slow. Let's see if this defense can rally for them. You know, you would love to see it. We were kind of talking about, like, you know, not last year. Last year was a great game, but 2023, it wasn't JCA. It was Tuscaloosa Christian, and how they were leading for a majority of the game, and then Russell Christian came back to tie it, and then eventually in overtime they were able to win it to continue their streak. Maybe we see something like that, folks.
Second two-pointer attempt, Lee on the scramble. He's got too many purple jerseys around him, tries to make it work, and does! Did he get the ball in his reception? No, the official says it hit the ground.
And that's the right call right there, Spence. It looked like the receiver bobbled it a little bit to the ground,
Yeah,
and then as
going,
he slid out of bounds, and he never retained possession of the football. That's a great call right there, Spencer. Great eye right there by the sideline judge. Not sure if we can get a name or not, but great call considering the receiver's back was turned to the head referee over there.
You have to look, basically, it looked like it hit the ground between his legs. So a great eye from the side judge there, or the field judge, whichever wing position they are. We were talking with the officials before the game, and they mentioned that especially with some of these games, they've been starting to add a total of 7 officials, or adding 2 from the usual crew of 5 to their main 11-man roster, since the game is starting to get a lot faster. And this game worked by 5 officials as they try to keep the rule book enforced and keep things clean.
Blake, let's
as you
add
mentioned,
on
a great
to
call.
what Jacksonville can do to get back in the game.
Yeah, and JCA right here, I mean, obviously an onside recovery would be huge, and then another quick score. I mean, that's more points for you. You would love to see it, but, I mean, the biggest thing they can do to get back in this game is manage the offense. Again, send the A-gap. Get your guys to play in space. Wrap up by the ankles. Get the jersey. Just got to do what you got to do to contain this very physical, very well-oiled machine that is the Russell Christian offense.
But keep it between 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's such a tough team. Onside kick attempt and great awareness there by Colton Frapp to just follow in the ball. We've seen several times in the CFA Championship from the teams that have played, including Russell, where they've been tripped up by onside kicks. So you know that's an emphasis for Tim Moore as well as his coaching staff to make sure that onside kicks, there's not even a chance to leave it up to the officials on the call.
Yeah. And Spence, this is the first time Russell Christian has not started on the other side, the positive side of the 50-yard line.
Great fact, Blake. Good job.
Yeah. Get a little comment there. Yeah, I mean, so statistically speaking, this is good for Jacksonville.
From the 50, another air out by Morphice on the left side in coverage. There is no flag. The Russell Christian sideline not agreeing with that, but per the official, Jack Harris, the sophomore, had great coverage.
And no, that's a great no call right there. The cornerback did everything he can do. I guess they would argue, hey, we kind of forced him out of – he kind of forced our guy out of bounds a little bit as we see on the replay. But, I mean, dude, that's what good quarterbacks do. Very physical play right there by the corner. Kept his hands up. It's a lot like basketball. Just keep your hands up. You'll never foul. You'll never foul. So, basketball and football are very interchangeable in a lot of ways, Spencer.
Both contact sports, one more than the other, but still both great. Morphice across the middle again, overshot his target. And you get a flag there. They're going to call Arnez Hurd for touching around the jersey side of Andrew Cole.
And there's also a flag at the 50.
Flag at the 50. And you see Arnez Hurd having a discussion with the official. Looked like it was cordial there. Love to see that in high school football, too, where there's not a yelling or shouting match on the player side. It's not preventative officiating, but just having a discussion about why that's a flag, as we have an illegal shift on the offense as well. So those fouls will offset to bring us 2nd and 10 again.
Yeah, and Spence, we were kind of it was an offsetting foul.
Let's
is what
talk
I'm
a little
hearing.
bit about penalties.
Yes.
There's been a few.
But, yeah, no, there's been quite a bit of penalties, especially on the offensive line of Jacksonville Christian. But, Spencer, we talked to Coach Miller about it earlier. And, you know, like I said, you know, basketball and football, a lot of the fundamentals are interchangeable. Jacksonville Christian, their entire football roster, all their players except one play basketball.
Yeah.
So I mean that kind of explains, you know, the natural kind of tendency to say, hey, like, I'm putting my hands up to prevent you from catching this pass. So,
and Coach Miller was even telling us before the game, you mentioned all but one of his players are in the basketball roster, a school of 141 up in Jacksonville, Alabama, and they have their first basketball game on Thursday. So not much rest for Coach Miller. He thought he had a week in between, but coaching in the championship here, starts his other season in a bit. 2nd and 10, Morphice airing it out, overshot his target again as Carter
Blake,
Simmons
add
in
on
the
how
area with 1.5
Blake,
left
add
to
on
go.
how his arm is kind of the weak link and how Jacksonville's going to win this one.
and right there, JCA, you know, they knew what they were getting into by, hey, we're going to, you know, put a corner on your receivers and just let them fly. Right there, JCA is playing into Bo Morphice's arm. You know, kind of, you know, Morphice was kind of 50-50, like a bag of trail mix. A little, you got some mixed feelings about it. What's it called? And you know, in this past, I'm trying to think of the word. Since JCA has caught momentum on offense, they've started to test Bo Morphice's arm, and he's missed on a lot of throws. So that's played into their defensive game plan.
Well, we got another timeout by Russell Christian here, as we will stick around since we only have 1.5 left to go here in this first quarter. Both these coaches complimentary of each other. Tommy Miller saying that Tim Moore, he knows football, mentioned they both came from the public school system, didn't know as much about eight-man. I mean, Jacksonville Christian tried 11-man for several years, and in the words of Coach Miller, he said it was a mistake on our part, even though there are teams that have had those fluctuations. When they go to 11-man, they struggle, and then they either come back or they start figuring it out and going to the upper 11-man side. And mentioning how the last several years they've been trying to get some momentum going and getting things good. But compliments from both sides for both of these coaches.
And, yeah, JCA, I mean, yeah, they're a slimmer roster compared to, you know, most all 11-man schools and even some 8-man schools like Russell. But, you know, they have strength in numbers. Their roster quality over the past couple years has really improved. I would say since 2021 or even 2022, they put together some strong roster, Spence.
Speaking of strong roster members, here's Morphice, right side. He's got a catch. Somehow in coverage, Simmons pulled that together as Jack Harris had a swat there as that brings him for a gain of 9 for 4th and 1.
Yeah, and right there, they tested the arm again of Bo Morphice, and it didn't pay off for the JCA defense. And they look like they ruled forward progress right there on the pass, and looks like we've got a timeout on the field.
We're talking, Spencer.
End of the first quarter and decision time for Coach Moore, and we've also got an update from Berkeley Mezzanotte.
Go.
You guys were just talking to you guys.
Man, tremendous stuff there, Berkeley, and it's another thing. You have the parents fully fair and such. I talked to Tommy Miller about it in terms of that grandson. It's not It's rare to have a coach's son dynamic, but a coach and grandson dynamic. And for Bo Morphice, great to see his father supporting him. And around these Alabama parts, tremendous when you hear them, especially in the city, as it's nicknamed, where legends are made, to hear about Bo Morphice and his dad's love of the Tide.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what's it called? I'm just trying to think. Jacksonville Christian, 36 points allowed so far. Their average mark on the year is 29, so they're known to let up a few spots right here. But we'll see what they can do to change that.
4th down, they're going to trust it to Morphice. I think he got there on the second push, and they're going to give him a 1st down. A bold decision by Tim Moore to go for it on 4th down. It pays off.
Well, Spence, you call it bold. I call it good football right there. Just power it up the middle with your quarterback. Kind of like a little QB sneak right there, Spence. Solid play that not a lot of defenses can respond to.
And I tell you, it's one of those, especially you talk about pivotal moments in the game. Think about what a momentum shift it would have been for Jacksonville Christian if they had made that stop, forced the first turnover on downs in the game. As it's now a 1st and 10 on the 39. Morphice will give it over to Simmons. He's got space on the outside. One man to beat. No one is going to catch him. And Carter Simmons has got another touchdown.
Yeah, Spence, that's what they've been doing all night. They fake it one way, then they pitch it the other way. As we see the handoff right there, great play design right there, and great open space run right there by Mr. Simmons. Just trots in the end zone. Easy money right there, Carter.
We're going to break after this.
The senior has 4 rushing touchdowns on the year now to add to his total. You've already got a combined 5 touchdowns scored thus far in the contest, 3 of them by their quarterback, and starting to spread the ball around, this time to one of their other star seniors.
2-point conversion.
As the 2-point conversion is good up the middle. And that gets tax another 2 on the board. And 11-19 left to go in the second. As every time Jacksonville has scored, Russell's responded.
Go, Spence.
Every time that Jacksonville Christian has scored, this Russell offense has had an immediate response as Jack Harris will try the kickoff return on the right side. He loses the football. It's still loose there, and I believe it is, yes, in possession, Jacksonville Christian. Great awareness, Dawson Wilkerson almost lost it on his attempt to go for it, and almost a special teams mistake there, and the Thunder recover.
Yeah, and that would have crushed Jacksonville Christian right there, but fortunately able to fall on it right there. Again, Spence, like I said, Russell Christian on special teams is one to crack somebody, man. They love to run downfield and run through the man that is in front of them. So, yeah, gotta applaud them on that for forcing the fumble.
First and 10 on the 40-yard line for Jacksonville Christian. Another chance for Lee under pressure. Gets the catch from his man, trying to juke out the other player. There goes Arnez Hurd with 2 spin moves, trying to get past the final tacklers. He's got a blocker. Arnez Hurd with men bringing him down from the backside. He's down at about the 30-yard line. Arnez Hurd might be the spark that this Thunder need.
Yeah, and that just seems to be the plan right now, as we see a great move right there to stick out his arm, Hurd, and a great spin. Wow. Just a very athletic player right there. That just seems to be the game plan for Jacksonville Christian. Get the ball to Hurd and get him in space. Like, just move out of the way if you're Jacksonville Christian and just let Hurd work.
Brings him into Russell territory on the 30-yard line for a first down. It's an all-league player for the CFA in Arnez Hurd. And they're going to hand it off to Jack Harris trying to go up the middle. He's got a gain of about 2. As a 30-point lead is what the Jacksonville Thunder are trying to overcome early in the second quarter.
Spencer, am I tripping, or is that their first run tonight?
I believe you're right. They may have had one other earlier on, but that's their first run, maybe the first run of the game.
Wow, yeah.
They mostly been trying to pass it.
Yeah, but hey, the passes work too. The passes work to their credit a little bit.
The problem is as well that Noah Lee's been under pressure so many times because of how tough this Russell defensive line is. As Lee gets a sling to the left side, a good catch there, wrap-up tackle. As Brody Wilkerson gets the reception, is brought down by Miles Coleman.
Yeah, and that's just a perfect ball right there by Noah Lee. Just puts it on the money between his numbers, or in the numbers, as I'd like to say. Right there, yeah, perfect throw. A little bit inside, and that's just what you want on an angle like that when you have your cornerback so close and glued on to you, Spence.
Another first down here as Jacksonville, for the first time in the game, has been able to march down the field with 2 first downs. As they look to get another score here. Deep toss, right side. Good catch made. One man to beat. Trying to spin out of the tackle. Inside the 5 is the junior Dawson Wilkerson.
He completes another one. First down to Wilkerson.
And, yeah, Spence, that's just something they've been doing that's been working recently. Those little out curl routes has just worked perfectly for them. And, I mean, you know, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Spence.
Yeah, you're right about those out routes and why we were asking about the rushing attempts on the game. They've found more success throughout this first half thus far in the passing side.
Yeah. I mean, two straight scoring drives, Spence. Sorry, that's my Memphis accent kicking in a little bit.
Not far off from the people down south here. 9 minutes left to go in this first half, and they'll rush it for one of the few times in the game, diving for the goal line touchdown, Arnez Hurd.
And second rush, first rush touchdown. Hey, if it, I mean, it threw him off. So great game plan right there by Tommy Miller and Jacksonville Christian, excuse me.
3 straight drives that this Thunder offense has managed to get a score on the board as they cut the deficit down to 24, the chance to make it 22 again.
Hey, Spencer, we're going to go to break after this.
With that formation with Harris and Hurd in the backfield, and they'll opt for a pass too high up on the ladder intended for Dawson Wilkerson. 44-20 the score here, 8:56 left to go in the second.
go.
Failed 2-point conversion attempt from Jacksonville Christian makes it a 24-point game. 8:56 remaining in this second quarter. This is a Jacksonville Christian team since 2004. They are 85 and 105 overall, 4-4 in the playoffs, 51 and 81 within their region play, as well as their includes CFA competitions. As in the backfield, Emery Watson will wait for it to bounce a little bit. So he's got some space. He'll be wrapped up at about the 30 as Russell Christian will start for the second time deep in their own territory.
Yeah, and great game plan right there by Jacksonville Christian. You know, just getting them on, again, the other side of the 50, a deep booming kick right there, and just covers up the kick return pretty well. As we see, he tries to juke outside, and he's just met by two guys, one up top and one at the bottom right there. Great physical play right there by JCA. Let's see if the defense can replicate that, Spence.
Again, they almost forced him to a turnover on downs on the last drive. The question is, what can this Thunder offense do here? Because at this point, you certainly need to get stops with the way the scoring has been. As you got a gap up the middle, tripped up at about the legs. Carter Simmons not able to go more than a couple of yards on the second down.
Yeah, Russell, I mean, they run a good balanced offense right there. Great run play right there. Granted, the run has worked a little bit more in their favor, but the pass has been, you know, somewhat dependable in this first half, for Russell. Yes, Bo Morphice is, you know, kind of, you know, hit or miss with his arm, but I mean, he can hit every now and then.
Handoff, chance to get past one guy, has to bring him down by the legs. If he could even bring him down, takes the second guy, Jace Wood, on a big breakaway. Touchdown saving tackle by Jack Harris.
Yeah, right here we'll see the replay.
I was talking to Blake.
Yeah, a little bit of fullback belly right there, and he just tries to drag on the jersey, tries to get the legs, and just a lot of chopping. Great play by the running back right there to keep those legs moving, keep the train running, keep the butter churning right there. And it takes a second defender to get him down right there. Great run.
Inside the 40-yard line in Thunder territory, this Russell Christian offense has yet to be stopped on any of their offensive drives. As Bo Morphice does it again. He's got touchdown number 4.
Yeah, a little QB power right there. Just takes it and finds the gap right there.
4 rushing touchdowns on the night for Bo Morphice as he gets into the end zone and past the defensive line yet again.
Yeah, and Spence, this kind of reminds me of, you know, like your average 3-15 Big 12 game, Spence, where it's just like a shootout, not kind of close, kind of not really. There's moments where it is close, but it's just both teams are in. There's a wide margin between them, but the scoreboard has been lit up.
And I think the Warriors have realized at this point they need to go for 2-pointers, as Jacksonville Christian is. And will he stretch out to the goal line? No, the official says his knee was short before he broke the plane. But that makes it a 50-20 competition with 7:33 left to go in this first half.
One, go.
Miles Coleman will boot it deep again. And Arnaz Hurd will return it again. Gets to about the 30-yard line before he gets spun up and tackled. They'll spot him at about the 31. And Jacksonville Christian will get another offensive attempt here. Still plenty of time left to go in the second quarter on a 30-point deficit.
Yeah, and that was a little scary right there. It looked like his feet just came out and under him, and there might have been a little bit of twist there within his, feet or ankle. But looks like he's walking fine. Looks like he's okay. Again, Russell Christian's been all over them on the special team side of the ball. Just nothing you could do about that right there for JCA.
Why is James in the shot?
This may end up being one of the largest combined scores of this rivalry between the Warriors and the Thunder. And both teams have at least scored more points than they did in their matchup earlier this season. Russell Christian 12 more and 20 more for the Warriors as we got a timeout by the Thunder. They'll call a stoppage here with 7:27 left to go in this second quarter. Oh, I beg your pardon. I thought it was a timeout. It looked like the signal there was a timeout on the sideline, and they will rule delay of game moving back 5 yards. Looked like the side official was giving a signal for saying no penalty and a timeout, but first and 15. They send Hurd in motion. Scramble here for Lee. He's going to air it out again up the middle. How about Hurd? He couldn't pull it in. Carter Simmons, he had him beat and could have gotten a couple more yards. And Arnez Hurd, one of those he wants another shot at.
Man, what a pass right there by Lee. And then Hurd wide open in space, just couldn't hang on to it right there. That's one of those you wish you could have back. Man, what a throw right there. Great arm right there by Noah Lee. And that's just been the story of the game for Jacksonville Christian, Spence. Just a lot of drop balls, a lot of missed opportunities right there that could have been, cashed out on.
Another deep toss. There is a flag. Looks like they're going to call pass interference on Emery Watson as the ball was intended for Jack Harris. So a lucky break there for Jacksonville.
Maybe roughing the passer, too. Looks like Lee got popped a little bit after that ball came out.
They'll actually call a holding on the defense instead of pass interference, which I believe in high school it's the same as the NFL with an automatic first down. As wait for the signal there. There's a discussion on the sideline here with Noah Lee and Tommy Miller.
2nd down and 5.
Holding against the defense. And I guess it's actually a 10-yard penalty there in high school instead of 5, and it's still 2nd down. They'll move it up to about the 35-yard line for 2nd down and 5.
Man, great opportunity right here by Jacksonville Christian. I think they may go with the run right here, but would love to see them go back to that big, long pass. Get Hurd a shot at redeeming himself as they try to spread it out right here.
Lee with a little more time, flag on the sideline. Lee is going to scramble himself, and he's going to get some yardage here for the first down as we'll check the flag. We'll spot him at the 44 at the moment.
May have been on the offensive line right there as like JCA is going to go out. Go back, excuse me.
And most of the time when you have a flag, yep, that's what the officials is going to signal for holding against the offense.
Yeah, Noah Lee was running for his life right there, so you kind of scratch your head and you wonder, hey, where was the hole, Spencer?
Well, most of the time when you have that long of time in the pocket, if it's a flag near the line of scrimmage that isn't played dead, it's usually a hold on the offensive line. And one of these situations where the flags have only been thrown when they've needed to be called in very egregious circumstances. 7:04 left to go in this first half. They move it back another 5 or 10 yards for 2nd and 15 back where they started.
Yeah, so perfect 2nd and 5 chance gone right there, and now you're back inside your own 30-yard line, Spence.
Holding penalties back-to-back on each team. 2nd and 15 from the 25. Jacksonville Christian in their own territory. Lee. He's got a chance to air it out again and couldn't get the catch in coverage. No flag.
Yeah.
Great work by the senior, Brett Gibson.
Yeah, great play right there by the defensive player right there. Might have got away with a little bit of DPI, but way to force the ball out. Looks like Hurd was about to catch that down the sideline.
Blake, talk about what play
little
they
bit
should
of
do
a
next.
little
Try to
bit of a
convert.
shoulder throw, but just could not convert.
How do you think they convert on this next play?
Oh, if they convert, well, I would love to see a little post. Somebody post hook in and then somebody post hook out.
Blake, don't be passive aggressive.
Brings us to a 3rd and 15, and it's been a challenge for the Warriors to well, I'd say it's been a challenge for the Warriors to keep their defense so strong, but they've handled that challenge very well. On a 3rd and 15, Lee, quick sling in the middle. Good reception.
Okay.
He's got blockers. He's got a first down, tripped up from behind by Carter
Yeah,
Simmons.
they
Jack
converted, by the
Harris
way.
with a great reception.
Yeah, great conversion right there. The method was not what I thought it would be on a little bit of a, looks like,
First
slip
down,
screen
Jacksonville.
pass. Yeah, great play, great run right there. Looks like he had a lot of real estate, but just got tripped up right
They
there by
converted.
Simmons.
Just outside the 45-yard line in their own territory now, this Thunder team sitting at 500 in the postseason since 2004. They're at 7-3 coming into this game, 4-1 in the CFA. Had a semifinal win, 56-21 against Cornerstone Christian to get here. Lee under duress. He's going to be brought down. Jace Wood with another sack. Had 2 coming into the game.
Yeah, great play right there by Jace Wood. Noah Lee, you know, he looked up. He thought he saw a little bit of daylight, a little bit of a hole that he could run through. And the Russell Christian defense just clogged it up as soon as they could. Great play right there by number 7, Jace Wood. That's his second sack of the night, didn't you say, Spence?
He had 2 sacks coming into the game.
Oh, okay.
Might be his second sack of the night, but he at least is up to a minimum of 3 after that incredible sack. 2nd and long. Lee again, got a little bit of time. Looks like that pass got batted at the line, but still caught as Dawson Wilkerson gets touched and gets back within the initial line to gain around that range. You get about 3 past it, 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Wilkerson's kind of been a great secondary target for Mr. Lee right there. And, you know, he kind of, a little bit of an out route, does good on it. Yeah, the pass was tipped a little bit, but that's more to the credit of the Russell Christian line because Noah Lee throws really freaking high, Spence. And the defensive line, if you're tipping Noah Lee's pass, I mean, they got some freaking hops, Spence.
One of the things that Coach Miller also talked about with Noah Lee is that even though you have some time this close dynamic, sometimes you get to it at the end of this play, about 3rd and 7. They'll send Hurd in motion. Lee again, he's got pressure this time. Lee is going to be drugged down by the jersey. There's a sack, Carter Simmons. Led the team with 7 sacks heading into the game, and that's at least 2 for him now. He's almost to double digits.
Yeah, and this is a difficult situation right here. You know, you're down 30. It's a 4th and, you know, 4th and Mobile, Spence, to say nicely. But you also don't want to punt. You can, but you know what Russell Christian has done on special teams and on offense to you. It's kind of a lose-lose situation here for Jacksonville.
So what I was mentioning, Coach Miller and that dynamic with his grandson, he mentioned that they're a pretty close-knit family altogether, and that this past Tuesday, Noah went up to Coach or his grandfather and asked to have a conversation. Then he took 25 minutes. Perfect timing with the timeout here by Coach Miller. He took 25 minutes to talk to him about what is your mindset here going into this championship, as shows the dynamic they have between coach and grandson. 3:39 left to go in the first half. Timeout here by the Thunder.
Go.
4th and long here for the Thunder, as it looks like they're going to go for it. And you have to think, with 30 points to overcome, it's time to do something here as Andrew Cole gets the pressure on. Air out across the middle, overshot his target of Dawson Wilkerson. And the first turnover on downs of the game will be forced by Russell Christian.
Yeah, and you hate to see the overthrow right there, but I mean, it was the right thought process. It was a great route. Just couldn't dial it in, Spencer, and that's just been the story of the night for Jacksonville Christian.
Jacksonville Christian, defending CFA champions, winning last year by a touchdown against Russell Christian. This is a Thunder team that graduated 4 seniors last year, and a Russell Christian team that graduated just 2. They have 13 seniors, and Coach Moore talked about that as well, as they'll hand it off. Another carry here for Jace Wood. It'll be brought down by about 3 defenders of the Thunder. But Coach Moore talked about that. If they're sort of top-heavy right now on the senior side, they've got 6 juniors, 5 sophomores, no freshmen out of the 24 that are on their rosters. So you imagine there's going to be a good effort on talking to the players and other new students coming into Russell Christian next year about next man up and trying to get that roster beefed up. But at least for now, next year they'd only have 11 players on the roster, which would be tough for anybody, as they'll reverse it over to Carter Simmons as he gets tripped up at about the line of scrimmage by Arnaz Hurd.
Yeah, and Spence, like you were talking about, yeah, they're going to have to go in the hall. It starts in the hallway. You got to recruit in the hallway, but I don't think it should be too hard for Russell Christian. You know, considering that hallway has 8 championship rings within the decade, Spence. And that is the correct number, right? 8. It was 8 straight, right?
7 straight.
7
into
straight,
last
okay.
year. Almost 8, but a touchdown score separated that for Jacksonville Christian. Get their first CFA championship, at least in a minimum of 8 years. It was an incredible streak that the Warriors had as they try to make it 8 in the last 9. Here's a carry right side, another chance for Bo. I beg your pardon, that is Bo Morphice.
Yeah.
Bo Morphice yet again with another rushing touchdown. Number 5.
Yeah, right there. Great rush by Morphice. Also great
We're just gonna
block
keep going to half, guys.
from his lineman. As we'll see if we can get this replay here. But just want to talk about the blocks from the line. I mean, it's just been very physical up front for Russell Christian. That's just been the difference in this game, and it's just paved the way.
The JCA linebackers haven't
Talk
come
about
downhill either.
talk about a bulldozer of a unit of an offensive line that Russell Christian has. 5 rushing I think it's 6, Spence, because there was that rush by Simmons too. So maybe 6.
7 total touchdowns
7
combined
total.
for the team, with Simmons and Wood scoring 1, as the 2-point conversion is good. Another carry through that brings it up to 58-20. 2:09 left to go here in the second quarter. And you think about it as well, we were talking about how it's 13 seniors that are graduating. Russell Christian has to rebuild. They don't have to worry about that with Bo Morris because he's a junior. And these last 2 seasons, he's been the centerpiece for this offense. So at least there's consistency for Coach Moore and company in the backfield.
Yeah, and again, like I said, Spence, like it's easy to recruit when you got 7 rings. It's kind of like, I feel like it's appropriate. Alabama, they don't really have to do a whole heck of a lot of recruiting. I mean, their history speaks for themselves. I feel like it's not a rebuild situation. It's more of a reload for Russell Christian.
Since 2007, this Warriors team has been 128 in the win column, 76 losses overall, 21-3 in the postseason for the last almost 20 years. And within the CFA, 67-35, including the regular season matchups. And last 8 seasons here, or at least the last 8-9 seasons, they've really just gone through the rest of the conference, and it's a testament to how great their program has been, as Brody Wilkerson is going to take the kickoff return on the 30-yard line and up to the 35.
And I should mention, Spence, more than likely we will take this running clock into the second half. or it should be a running clock.
Well, the running clock rule on
Wilkerson
Mercy
with the
rule doesn't
return.
start until the second
Jacksonville
half,
begins
not in the
drive
second
at
quarter.
35.
Never mind. Never mind. I take that back.
Not quite yet, but it is a 38-point lead. A touchdown by Jacksonville Christian would negate that, which we've seen several explosive plays. They're certainly capable of that, and they've got about 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to drive it down, and they got some timeouts available. Leave just 2. Russell Christian has 1 left.
We're just going to half, boys.
Warriors team on defense from Meridian, Mississippi. Ball starts at the 35-yard line. Lee does not have any options other than to scramble, avoids the sack, scrambling again, will toss right side. It'll go out of bounds, but still in the area of a receiver in Dawson Wilkerson.
Incomplete
So
Talk about the O-line,
Just
Blake.
an
Talk about the
incomplete.
O-line.
Yeah, great. Great awareness right there by Lee to just get that pass out in time. But the O-line's just really struggled right here for JCA. Just cannot get anything going. We saw a big hold penalty that happened earlier. It's just been a story of struggles on the O-line side.
On the
Of
flip, talk
JCA.
about Russell secondary.
And Russell's secondary also has been great, containing Noah Lee. But we should talk about, there's been some missed opportunities in the air for Noah Lee and, his receiving core. A lot of drop passes, too. So this is kind of a game of what if for JCA.
Looks like the pressure about 4
Great job,
on
Blake.
Lee. Quick sling. Intercepted! The ball bobbled, and it's picked off by Emery Watson. Had no interceptions heading into the game and just took it away from Wilkerson.
Yeah, and that's a rare pick right there
Lee's
by
pass
Watson.
intercepted by Emery Watson.
Yeah, that's just a great play overall. Just reads it perfectly, and solid job of wrapping up the defender on that one. But, yeah, I mean, way to read the defense, man. And, Spence, I should note, to this point of the game, Jacksonville Christian, the most points they gave up
Spencer, speak on
until
if there's a
now
mercy rule in Alabama or not.
was 56, and that was to the, at the time, number 4 ranked Southern Christian Patriots with an injured
So, like,
Noah Lee.
explain it so the people are not like, game's over?
From the 46-yard line for the Warriors, minute 44 left to go in the second quarter, and before Alabama rule and most high school football rule, the mercy rule kicks in at the 35-point lead as this goes up to about the 38-yard line, and that's certainly what the Thunder defense trying to lessen the damage, and it's just, again, it's so challenging with the Warriors and how they've been throughout the game.
Yeah, Russell Christian, they're just a physical team, Spence. They're going to look up every snap and just try and punch you in the face without actually punching you in the face is the best way to say it. Physical run right there, and, man, they're just milking this clock right now, trying to go into the second half.
Out of 2nd and 4, like you mentioned, 60 seconds left to go here in this first quarter. They're just running it to get to the locker room and regroup, reassess, at least on Jacksonville's side. Russell Christian, more than likely, that message will just be stay the course. But
First down, Russell.
And, hey, Spence, one thing I do want to speak on is Russell Christian's defense. As we see, looks like a timeout. We'll see if we can keep it here. But Russell Christian's defense, the
Timeout,
most they had
Russell
let
Christian.
up at this point was the 56. Or excuse me, not the defense, the offense. Excuse me. Jacksonville consistently scored 54, 54, 54, 52, 46, 0, 6, and that was with an injured Noah Lee, of course. 12, 46 when they got him back, 56. Russell has held them to 20 with a healthy a healthy Noah Lee in one half. So, I mean, credit to Tim Moore right here for the defensive game plan, containing JCA's seemingly explosive offense. I mean, they averaged 38 on the season, 38 points per game, and they've handled them well, Spence.
and you have to credit their defensive coordinator, David Hollyfield,
Yeah.
on the plan that he's had as well. And Tim Moore even said that he was very complimentary of his assistant coaches. And, Here's another chance where Morphice laid out, almost had it tipped away as he got touched from the backside by Brody Wilkerson. And you also have to shout out their offensive line coach, Ben Kirk. I mean, you've got guys on the line there in Larkin and Hearn, and you've also got in there as well Joey Burns, the guys who've really made it easy for Bo Morphice. With that touch on the back by Brody Wilkerson, it's one of the few times that he's really been under pressure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And kind of like you said, the O-line has just been dominant from the O-line play from Russell has just been
Speak
dominant.
about the linebackers not coming
and
downhill. And not
they've just
confusing anything.
dominated JCA's, defensive line and secondary and linebacking core.
It's like we got another false start. And you think the defense could maybe put a little more pressure on this offensive line?
I mean, maybe it's just hard with the O-line, with Russell Christian's size. Like, I'm looking at those three guys down there, on the field and on the sideline. Russell Christian's line is probably like 2 or 3 of them biggest guys on the field. So, I mean, it's really just not fair, honestly. It seems to be more of a size mismatch or anything. Russell Christian just looks strong, like physically strong, Spence.
It's very much shown out on the field thus far with a 38-point lead heading into halftime, possibly tacking another touchdown on here as they have 2 wideouts on both sides and another air out on the right side. Did he get his foot in bounds? No. May have gotten 1 foot, but not the second one, as that was caught on the right side by Colton Frapp. Good on not bobbling the ball, but couldn't get it in bounds.
Yeah, we'll see if we can nope, no replay on that. But, yeah, it looked like he got that first foot down, Spence, but not the second one. Is it NFL catch rule, Spence, or is it college
It's
where
college.
it's only one?
It's
Okay.
college.
College 1 foot, so the line judge in real time probably ruling that it didn't have firm possession before he at least got 1 foot in bounds. So 3rd down with 3 wideouts on the left. Scramble here again, and it's not going to matter for Bo Morphice as he finds a gap, finds another one, and he gets tripped up, touchdown-saving tackle by the freshman in Brody Wilkerson.
Yeah, and that would have been his 6th right there for Bo Morphice, as there's a penalty flag on the field. Looks like it's going to be holding.
Yeah, back at the 35. Again, as we mentioned, majority of the time when you have a flag back at the line of scrimmage and they haven't shut down the play, it's more than likely an offensive holding or something of that nature. And looks like they had maybe a blindside block is what they'll rule there. I
With
believe that's
Russell
the signal.
starting to score, maybe start going ahead and start
Yeah,
talking about what
and
Jacksonville needs to do next.
And, for Russell, I mean, I was just talking about how good their O-line is. I think that's their first penalty on the O-line. Spence,
maybe
correct me
speak
if
about
I'm
what
wrong.
Jacksonville needs to do in the second half to get back in the game.
I've been very impressed with RCA's offensive line play
at midfield
so far.
So a blindside block is the call, moves it all the way back to the 50-yard line. Clock will wind with 25 seconds left as we wind things down here in this first half. And game that Jacksonville Christian has tried to fight back in, managed to get scores on multiple drives, but Russell Christian has had most of the answers. Deep toss left side, overthrown, incomplete, 8.1.
Yeah, it just looks like a miscommunication on that one. Just kind of up in the air ball. Try to weave it in between the 2 defenders, and it kind of sailed to the left. I think the receiver was expecting it to go to the right there, but a little bit of a misthrow, a little bit of maybe miscommunication sprinkled in there. But one more play, and it will take us to the half, Spence.
Maybe 2.
Unless they stop it really quickly. Certainly if they get a quick first down, which might be difficult for the receivers to get downfield in that quick of time. So maximum of 2 plays depending on what happens here. On a 4th down.
Thank you, Spencer.
Second time that this has been a 4th down conversion attempt for Russell Christian. You would think that if they're rushing it to try and get to the end of the half, they would just punt it here in midfield, but that will not be the decision. That is multiple reversals, and that's why they went for it. Right side, and not Andrew Cole. It is Andrew Cole for the rushing touchdown.
Let's see if we can get the replay on this, Spence. It looked like a triple handoff. I can't say I've never seen that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think that's 3 handoffs right there. What a play and what a run right there by Andrew Cole. That is 8 rushing touchdowns so far on the day for Russell Christian. I mean, just having a ball. 8 for number 8.
A receiving and rushing touchdown on the game for the senior and Andrew Cole. I tell you, this is one of those competitions where the second half is going to be interesting to see how Jacksonville Christian makes their adjustments as time expires. 2-point conversion attempt before we get to the second half. Morphice, toss, over the middle. That's a completion. Miles Coleman.
Good.
That 2-point conversion
Keep
attempt
rolling.
is
Berkeley's
good.
getting set up.
So that will take us
66 to 20
to
is your
halftime.
halftime
You have a
score.
66-20 score here in the second quarter. It's been mostly all Warriors. It was 50-20 at one point. The Thunder were trying to respond and get things going. And the team that's
All right,
up
we'll send
right
it down,
now,
we'll send it
their
down.
head coach Tim Moore is with Berkeley Mezzanotte.
For the second half.
Well, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, keep working hard, and just keep our heads in the game.
All right, Coach. Go enjoy halftime. Back to you guys.
Just trying to enjoy the game as they go to halftime, and that's certainly what the Warriors are doing right now. 66-20 as we get to halftime here in the 2025 ACAA Championship game. The Warriors are Russell Christian leading over the Thunder of Jacksonville Christian. We'll be back in about 20 minutes.
1, go.
We welcome you back to the second half of the 2025 CFA ACAA High School 8-Man Football Championship. A score of 66-20 as we start this second half. Russell Christian leading over Jacksonville Christian. Blake, a game that at times there were spurts for the Thunder. They had some chances to start making things back, but at least right now it is a challenge to overcome a 46-point deficit against Russell Christian.
Yeah, definitely a challenge for any team. But here's one thing that JCA has
after kickoff, right?
that no one else does. They have Noah Lee,
Got
who
that,
is
Bert?
more than capable of making the big
cool.
plays when you need it. Granted, it is a 46-point lead, but, I mean, hey, crazier things have happened in the sport of 8-man football.
We've seen a lot of these crazier comebacks on the games we've called over the years in multiple locations, and there have been comebacks, things like that. But it's the question is, how does Jacksonville Christian make the adjustments? And we'll hear about that in a moment. But first, we have to wait for the Warriors to discuss with the officials. Looks like Coach Miller is having a discussion with the officials, having a discussion with our referee Eric Owens, making sure everything is situated, and waiting to see how things go down here as we get to the start of this second half. And to our knowledge, now there are some different rules in the CFA in terms of whether the mercy rule is enacted, but they're also talking to Coach Tim Moore as well to make a clarification on what's going on here. It's likely what they're talking about is, and it's one of those things you hate it if you're a player for the mercy rule to occur, but it's a matter of not only the sense of pride, but it's also injury. You don't want any chance of, a runaway game injuring any more players, especially when you think about both these schools having a lot of basketball players on the roster. So we'll get the kickoff here to start out this second half. Miles Coleman will boot it away for Russell Warriors. And we'll get things underway. Arnez Hurd back deep to receive, as he has been throughout the entire game on the kickoff side, and that will result in a whistle from the official, and we're underway in the second half with a kickoff return from Hurd. He'll get up to about the 25-yard line, stumble on his feet, try to get around as he's wrapped up.
Send it to Berkeley. Send it to Berkeley.
Berkeley Mezzanotte got to catch up with both coaches. Berkeley?
Go, Berkeley.
To coach at the half for Russell Christian, and I asked him, how are you going to keep these boys in the moment, humble, and
It
just
will
keep
be
doing
a
what
hot
they're
clock
doing?
for
And his
this
response
second
was,
half.
we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Obviously, we're going to stay grounded, and we're just going to have some fun. Back to you guys.
Appreciate that, Berkeley, and talk with both coaches at halftime and figure out their strategies. And Coach Miller talking about in the halftime interview saying sort of the same things. They're just wanting to have fun and enjoying the competition they're having right now as they try to get another defensive stand here on the 25-yard line. And we do have a running clock here in the CFA Championship game. We've seen this before. It's been a couple of years, Blake, but again, it's just – we'll talk about it at the other side of this play. As Noah Lee tries to get something going. Quick toss left side, and it's a good catch by Brody Wilkerson, who has some space, but slips up there, gets brought down by Brett Gibson as well as Decker McKenzie. And how about Brody Wilkerson on a good catch?
Yeah, and what a pass right there by Noah Lee, and what a catch right there, too. Looks like he
they converted, Blake.
It was a little wet down there on that grass and just got caught. Tried to do a little back juke move and didn't really work out. Slippage there.
It has not rained here, Blake.
So,
but a good gain there from Brody Wilkerson on a chunk play. It's 90 seconds they have shaved off here in this second half. Here's Lee again. Got deep pressure. Tried to avoids two players on his own, but can't avoid players 3 and 4. Simmons and Wood sneaking through the line.
Yeah, and struggles right there from the JCA line right back there, as there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
They brought two
Russell Warriors
they brought two.
Down there to sack Noah Lee, and they only brought 2, which I don't know what that speaks strongly more of.
They brought 5. They only sent 2. They sent both linebackers. Sorry about that.
And the linebackers getting involved. We were talking about how these on the other side for the Thunder, they needed to bring their linebackers down.
And they dropped 3, so it was just man on man.
Here's Lee, quick sling right side. What a attempt on the catch there, just couldn't pull it in there. Dawson Wilkerson managed to get the better at first of Emery Watson, but couldn't pull it in.
Yeah, again, that's just been story of the game. Noah Lee has put it on the money for the most part, and just, you know, his receivers have just not been able to corral it in, and that's left them in a 46-point hole.
46-point difference. Between these two teams. Third down and long. Toss left side, incomplete, just outside of the potential reach of Brody Wilkerson. Coverage by Colton Frapp.
Yeah, a little bit too far out left right there as we see this replay. Noah Lee takes the snap, looks downfield at second read, just zips it a little bit past to the left, a little bit strong right there, but it brings up a 4th and 20. They went for it last time they were in a position similar to this. Granted, not down 46, but down a good couple points. Could we see them do it again? I mean, very likely. I could also see a punt here too, just to preserve your players and just try to go home, get some rest.
4th down and long, under 8 minutes on the mercy rule, as Lee has more pressure trying to convert here on 4th down. Too high, intended for his target of Wilkerson.
Talk about the overthrows,
That'll be a second turnover here for the Thunder.
And besides the missed drops, I mean, it's just been a thing of Noah Lee has just been overthrowing his guys a lot. I don't know. I know he's a D1 commit. He's local to the college he committed to. I don't know if he's been working out with, you know, some of the guys in college, you know, hopefully get ready for next year to compete for a starting job at the NCAA level.
Overthrows in the game,
but he's just been overthrowing his guys and just trying to get used to that. And, yeah, just putting a little bit too much English on each pass.
You know, headed into this
also, he hasn't had much time
competition,
away,
Tommy Miller was talking about how against Russell Christian, he said they're stronger than we are, and we're fortunate enough to even be in this situation as Carter Simmons gets to the outside, gain of about 3-4 yards. But he mentioned they were even fortunate to be in this situation to play them, and he said it's a lot to overcome when you're playing Russell, and that's really what's played out on the field here thus far.
Yeah, Russell's just a physical team too. I know we talked with Coach, the coach of Russell, and he said immediately after the CFA loss, they were in the weight room, I think a day or two after, which just kind of speaks onto the tradition and just kind of the attention to detail Russell has for their football program, Spence.
On the other side, Coach Miller, and love the story from Berkeley earlier about talking to Bo Morphice's dad. It was actually Jamie Morphice over at Russell Christian who gave a call to Tim Moore. He was actually in the area visiting relatives over in Meridian, and he got a call about potentially being the head coach 3 years ago and also being assistant principal. As this goes again to Carter Simmons, he'll get stopped for a gain of about a yard. And he said, you never want to close a door. And he also gave his word to the school he was working prior, the principal. He gave his word he'd stay through the end of the year, and he said, I need to think about it, but if my boss over there, my superintendent, says I can't go, I need to stay at the end of the year, I'm staying. He walked into the office, and this principal said, if that's where you're being led to go, then that's where you need to be. As Mo Morphice gets a carry up here for a couple yards, they'll move the chains for a first down. And in 3 seasons, on the cusp of winning 2 conference championships in the last 3 years, he's really held the high standard that was held before with Russell Christian.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is, only his second year. And, if the score holds up to what it is, he's brought them right back, to the standard that they've been doing. And it's hard to keep that championship, kind of pedigree, kind of, status, if you will, Spence.
Cool, since they're up by 46. Thank you.
About a 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line. This will be handed off again, and getting open in space past the tackle. It's Chase Wood who gets in for his second rushing touchdown of the game.
Yeah, again, great run right there. Russell's been doing it all night. They've been just running the ball down the throat of JCA, and yeah, just good physical run right there. Just misses the tackle and trots in. I mean, nothing more to speak on that one, Spence. Just
We're
great
going to go
run.
to break after this, boys.
Yeah, it's just a tough situation when you're facing off against Russell Christian, and we mentioned Tommy Miller even said that going in. And it looks like they do stop the clock here on the 2-point conversion attempt at 4:19. It's 72-20. This will go in. Bo Morphice gets in to make it 74
All
to
right,
20.
let's go to break, boys.
4:19 left to go in the third.
One, go.
Miles Coleman has been active today on the kicking side as he boots another one here for another return here by Arnez Hurd. And it'll go all the way out of bounds to give some good field positioning for Jacksonville Thunder as clock continues to run at 4 minutes left in the third here. Think about as well for Coach Tommy Miller achieving the first CFA championship in at least a long time, first conference championship last year, overcoming what was a dominant Russell team for 7 years straight. And he even talked about in that championship game that he felt last year that his grandson made a lot of great decisions when he was on the quarterback side. And he felt they were balanced in the passing and running game. And they also lost their star wide receiver and tailback who had really good games from last year. And it's playing out with the 4 seniors that graduated were really centerpieces for the Thunder.
Yeah, and it just seems like, JCA is just missing that. And, that's one thing next year they're really going to have to do some soul searching for is Noah Lee's graduated. And they have a few guys here graduating. And it's like, we're going to see, that impact being missed next year.
Quick sling incomplete through the hands of Wilkerson, and coverage again there by Brett Gibson.
Is incomplete.
6 teams total in the CFA here. Tuscaloosa Christian and Cornerstone
You got to
Christian.
replay, Blake.
As we get to the replay.
Yeah, replay right there. I mean, just miss slant, just overthrows a little bit to his left right there. But, yeah, like you were saying, the CFA just kind of seems wide open next year because you said Russell was graduating a bunch of guys.
13.
Yeah, 13 guys. I mean, coming off the heels of what looks to be a championship. Noah Lee's, gone after
Speak
this
on
game.
how Russell's been able to turn over guys pretty quickly.
Cornerstone's kind of on the rise. We don't really know what it's going to look like next year, even with Russell returning some talent.
Deep toss. Lee intended for Wilkerson, just outside of his reach. Tried to get it in the bucket, and incomplete there. And you're right, it's very hard to have dynasties in high school sports with Russell Christian. 9 seniors graduating from the 2022 season, 4 in 23, 2 in 24.
Got a flag, Spencer.
As we've got a flag down back at about the line of scrimmage. And looks like this will potentially move back, and it will with a holding on the offense. But it's still, again, one of those in the total last 3 seasons, they've graduated 15 seniors, 9 of those in 2022. And still, they were able to win that overtime conference championship against Tuscaloosa Christian in 23. And last year, with only losing 4 seniors, it's just hard to think about how incredible a sustained success has been for the Warriors.
Yeah, and well, Russell has that, kind of championship DNA. Again, 13 guys is a lot, Spence. I mean, that's essentially, more than most 8-man rosters at the high school level. So, I mean, they're going to have some rebuilding and soul searching to do as much as everybody else in the CFA.
Lee alone, another shot, gets a good pass and good completion. Couldn't get through 2 defenders there. The tackle down there by Cirrus Hendley, the senior. Brought down the tackle there to Wilkerson. And doesn't get quite to the first down, but at least a good chunk gain.
Yeah.
As we have about 50 seconds left in the third.
Yeah, good chunk change right there. Great throw.
$54-point lead here for Russell Christian. Have to look back on the history side.
Like a tide.
Have to look back on the history side to see if this is the highest scoring championship game for Russell Christian throughout their last several years. Here goes Lee with a deep toss across the middle, incomplete. Even the official fell down there. It's we would say the turf monster, but this is a natural grass field, so the grass has really gotten to a lot of these folks.
And like I said, Spence, earlier, I mean, it's a little slick out there, even though it has not rained here much at all in the past couple hours. Yes, we see the official slip. I could watch that all day, and you can too. If you're back home, you can rewatch this, and you can rewatch him slip too. Anyway,
let's go to break.
We go into the fourth quarter of this championship game.
Let's go to break. What?
Looking back on the Max Prep record books, this would be the largest amount of points that Russell Christian has scored in the championship game, at least since 2014, since their appearances in those championship games. As a cut on the inside, Brody Wilkerson. It's wrapped up by several tacklers. And I'm continuing to look back just to make sure. Looks like they did have a matchup. Don't think it was a playoff match against Lamar in October 25th, 2013, where they won 69-14. At least it looks like there's an eye that looks like it might be an incomplete game where they ended it because of the score difference.
Yeah,
but
I know Russell Christian. They had some stuff with MAIS where they had to leave for some. I don't quite know the situation on that. So
okay, well at least in the CFA, they this is the largest score that they've had, and would also be the largest margin of victory, pending anything from Jacksonville Christian. As we got a whistle, looks like a player hobbling for Russell Christian. Emery Watson, great production game he's had. You hate to see it there, but it does give Ryder Chisholm, the sophomore, a chance to come in.
Yeah, he has a pick earlier on the day, so that's a big loss for RCA's defense, especially in the secondary.
Incomplete pass, second down and 10.
That one's thrown a little bit behind him.
You had a lot of fans on our side, the Russell Christian fan base, cheering to see several of their players who maybe don't get as much playing time getting into the mix. Under 10 minutes left to go. Incomplete pass intended for Dawson Wilkerson, and you could see the frustration from the young man, which has been that kind of moment all game where ball has been in the receiver's hands, but they haven't been able to grip it down.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a collected frustration from JCA and, you know, Dawson right there. I mean, Wilkerson, that's been his go-to, you know, whip route. That's been his bread and butter. He's been able to, you know, corral those catches, and it just dropped. I don't know what's going on with JCA and the drops, but, man, hopefully they can get it addressed in the offseason.
Bring us down to a 3rd down and 10 on the 35-yard line. Just over 9 minutes left to go on this running clock. Warriors.
When the clock hits 0, I need you to find the ref and get the mic off of him. Okay. And then bring it up here.
Warriors with a complete performance on their part. The defense let up a couple of touchdowns, or several, as a flag is down on the left side. A scramble here for Lee. Let's go to the outside. As we do have a flag. I do want to mention one thing here, at least with these seniors who are graduating. There's a total of 6 for Jacksonville Christian.
Yeah.
These guys, at least, it's a face mask called against the defense, so a lucky break for the Thunder. This is at least great for these seniors to go out with one conference title under their belt with last year, because it's tough to defend your conference championship. It's tough, especially against the same team, but at least these seniors who are graduating, they were able to get one on Russell, especially with how one-sided the CFA Championship games have been for the Warriors.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, they were able to make it to 2, and they got away with 1 in 22, and then they won in 24, obviously. And that's, I mean, that's a heck of an accomplishment to have as a player. Most players don't even make it to their conference championship game at least once.
Right side, you got Harris.
Berkeley's got an injury update on number 12 for Russell, right, Berkeley? Okay.
Toss.
Send it over to her whenever.
Right side, incomplete, intended for Wilkerson. Berkeley has an injury update from Russell Christian.
Go, Berkeley.
Checked on number 12, Emery Watson. He just had a little bit of a hamstring problem. They're stretching him out. He's doing just fine. Should be back in the game anytime soon. Back to you guys.
Good to hear that he'll be coming back, especially the senior in his final game. As like you said, had an interception, and CFA All-League player, had such a great performance in this championship game. And since we're getting down the stretch here, Blake, this is one of those choices that we don't like to say it's obvious, because football is a team sport. And there's so many guys who manage to end up scoring, but this seems like for junior Bo Morphice, this is a scramble and a run by Arnez Hurd, who gets through, trying to push for the goal line. Did he get in? They'll rule him short.
Where was that?
At about the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
And gets down for a first goal here. But at least the Thunder will get another chance to put in a touchdown here. But, again, I don't want to say it's seemingly obvious, but I would think Bo Morphice is the most valuable player in this championship.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I would say by a mile, Spence. I'd take the opposite angle.
Maybe speak on potential Gatlinburg All-American invite.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple players at this game who are 100% worthy of an invite to the Gatlinburg All-American Bowl as well. We have a couple players who have already played in the game, now that I speak of it.
As we got a whistle, looks like normally when they stop it here, it's a false start. And wait on the signal, it'll be an encroachment on the defense. And saw the point to the other side. So under 6 minutes left to go here, as Jacksonville Christian will be able to get another touchdown in here. And you also have to think as well on the coaching side. You know, Tommy Miller's been around here for 38 years, has had an incredible time, and is always talking about
touchdown,
as
Thunder.
The Thunder
Harris,
get a score there. Hurd with his 2nd touchdown of the game. Knocks it in.
The clock's rolling. Let's just keep going, guys.
So with Coach Miller, one of the things we asked all the coaches this week was not any hint at anyone retiring or stepping down or anything along those lines. We asked, what do you want your legacy to be known for? And the same similar answer among Coach Moore and Coach Miller, that especially with them being Christian programs, and saying they're hoping that their players he brought them closer to God. I hope he brought them closer to Christ. And saying the football, it's certainly important, but it's necessary to make sure you instill good principles in these players. And it's also a benefit. You've seen that play out in the field. No major shoving, no fights, nothing like that. All of them sportsmanship as Lee scrambles looking for a 2-point conversion. And how about that catch and good play there from Jack Harris, making another 2-point conversion for it. 74-28, as we do have a flag on the field. They might be calling this back on a hold, but both coaches saying that they didn't really talk about the football side with their legacy. They cared about how they made an impact on their players' lives even 10, 20 years down the line.
As we get the call on the field.
And it is going to be a holding on the offense, so 2-point conversion will be wiped off and backed up about 10 yards. But coaches on their legacy caring more, Blake, about how they impact the lives of these young men instead of what happens on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, something that kind of stuck out to me when he said is like, you know, football is only 4 years of your life, you know, and football will win someday, but, you know, your relationship with the Lord and with God will, you know, I mean, never really end. So I'm glad to hear there are some football coaches out there that, you know, value that more than the actual, you know, it's the stuff that matters like that. So.
So they'll back it up 10 yards on this 2-point conversion attempt to the 12-yard line after an incredible play by Noah Lee to extend it. And it was a successful try at first with Jack Harris. But now another situation with Jack Harris to the left of Noah Lee. And they toss it across. There it is. Arnez Hurd gets the octopus.
2-point conversion is good.
2 rushing
remaining
touchdowns and a 2-point conversion for
74-28
Arnez
to
Hurd,
score.
at least
We do have
one.
half-priced hamburgers and hot dogs to go grab.
5:28.
Head out.
You're back, Spencer.
Welcome you back here, about 5 minutes, and the clock winding down. Left to go in this fourth quarter, 74-28. Wrapping things up here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Spencer Thompson, Blake Biggs, sideline reporter Berkeley Mezzanotti, our producer Eli Cornett, director Lee Baldwin. We also have on our scoreboard Drew Williamson. Camera operators in Emma Curl, Eleanor Rodhouse, Preston McElhaney, and certainly mentioned James Shannon, the glue that's been holding everything together. Only people that'll be returning on the crew for tomorrow's Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship. Myself, Eli Cornett, and James Shannon. We'll have an all-star crew, literally and figuratively. A bunch of different new folks that will be joining us for tomorrow in White House, Tennessee. That game will start on the air about 6:40 Central Standard Time from north of Nashville. So should be a fun one from Middle Tennessee. 2nd and 10 on the 45.
Yeah, and Spence, looks like Russell Christian has got some fresh bodies in. With its Longrone at quarterback.
Yeah, they're rotating some more folks in. That's Jake Lagrone, the sophomore, as this gets carried up the middle for about 3 or 4 yards on about the second down.
And that's Bishop Porter on the carry. Just want to make sure I get
Bishop Porter with
some of these names out.
Yeah, I thought I saw 14 there. It was a
down
24 with the,
7.
64 is also in there. But yes, Bishop getting the carry.
Mm-hmm. And this is, I mean, they're trying out, this is essentially tryouts for next year, Spence. These guys are potentially going to be starting for this Russell Christian team and trying to contend for a championship for next year.
Back on the left side with a carry. Trip up there for Jake Lagrone, sophomore, who on the year only had 2 for 5 on the passing attempt category at his 2 completions, 12 yards. He'd also rush for 82 yards on 14 carries. Anytime he carried it, it was about 6 yards per rush. And brings up a 4th down here with about 2.5 left. It is so tough if you are going against Russell Christian Academy to take them off of the mountain. Jacksonville Christian did it last year by a 1-score game, and that seemed to be the case here. The Warriors are, as we have the rain has started down here in Tuscaloosa. Now 2 minutes, 10 seconds. The rain has started coming down here in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Good heads up, Spence. I started putting my rain jacket on.
I forgot mine in my car.
It's a scramble here. Lagrone. He'll go back down, and this will be a turnover on downs. They can't get it forward, and that should wrap things up.
Yep. Gains about a yard, 4th down.
And we'll see if, Jacksonville Christian trots out Noah Lee, or if they decide to keep him on the sideline for, his final game.
Yeah, final game as a senior. I wouldn't be surprised if they move out all the seniors here and get things situated here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
And I got to say, for Jacksonville Christian, what a run. What a run. I mean, if anything, you at least got one. And you took down, a 7-time defending conference champion in Russell Christian. I mean, not a lot of teams can do that.
First and 10 from the 49-yard line. This will be a lob pass. It's a flea flicker. They try to have Noah Lee pass it, and he does get a deep pass off. Brody Wilkerson, what a catch. Great stuff by Wilkerson on the last second to convert it for a 1st and 10 just outside the 20.
Yeah, I love the trickeration right there. As we see, we're going to replay right here, little pitch, and then toss right back, and then just let Noah Lee throw the ball. Great catch, great precision right there, to get that arm under and really tuck it in like a baby.
Possibly one more play here for Jacksonville Christian, this team that overcame the Russell Warriors last year by a touchdown, has one last gasp here with 10 seconds left, trying to push it forward, tiptoes the sideline. But Russell Christian yet again shows why they are such a great team, why their program has such continued success. Your champions in 2025 for the CFA, the Russell
Blake, give your
Christian
last thoughts.
Academy Warriors.
Blake, give your last thoughts.
Yeah, great championship win right
Berkeley,
there by
you're
the
good.
Russell Christian Warriors. I mean, does the dynasty continue? I don't know. We'll see. But, hey, if it is, it's a great start. Congratulations to the Russell Christian Warriors.
Wrap it up, Spencer. We'll send awards.
We will be back in a few moments for the prize presentations on the field here for the CFA Championship. 74-28, Russell Christian wins it in 2025.
telling me in the stands earlier that you were such a leader. Do you believe that you were that leader tonight, like your dad said?
I would like to think so, but I'd like to say I got it from him. He's a very good leader. He's a very good Christian leader in my life, and I appreciate it.
What do you have to say about your teammates and your coach?
No, I can't do my job without the linemen, and they give me more than enough time to do what I'm supposed to do. Brewer, Tyler, Joey, they're great. I got great receivers, great running backs.
Hey, well, congratulations. Go give your teammates a big bear hug. Congratulations. Back to you guys.
All right, Lee, hold that.
I mean, he's on right now. Is that okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to another exciting prize presentation for the Christian Football Association. Another season has concluded, and we have some hardware to hand out. For the 2025 Defensive Award selections for the CFA 8-Man All-League players, we start with the defensive lineman. From Tabernacle Christian, number 74, Aiden Garrett. From Cornerstone Christian, number 25, Brody Barksdale. From Russell Christian, number 77, Brogan Null. Also from Russell Christian, number 5, Joey Burns. And now your defensive award selections for defensive ends. From Jacksonville Christian, number 65, Ethan Compton. From Tabernacle, number 21, Austin Batson. From Russell Christian, number 2, Decker McKenzie. Also from Russell Christian, number 1, Carter Simmons. And also from Russell Christian, number 8, Andrew Cole. And now your defensive award selections for linebackers. From Tuscaloosa Christian, number 23, Aiden Smitherman. From Cornerstone Christian, number 10, Colby Harrison. From Russell Christian, number 7, Jace Wood. From Jacksonville Christian, number 3, Jack Henry Harris. Also from Jacksonville Christian, number 4, Brody Wilkerson. And now your defensive award selections for defensive backs. From Tuscaloosa Christian, number 1, Kaysen Dogan. From Russell Christian, number 12, Emery Watson. Also from Russell Christian, number 15, Miles Coleman. And from Tabernacle, number 11, Tucker Andrews. And your defensive award selection for punter, from Victory, number 15, Alex Taylor. And now your offense award selections for the CFA in 2025. First offensive lineman, from Tuscaloosa Christian, number 44, Ike Christian. From Russell Christian, number 75, Tyler Hearn. Also from Russell Christian, number 5, Joey Burns. And also from Russell Christian, number 72, Brewer Larkin. From Jacksonville Christian, number 78, Preston Stroder. And from Victory, number 61, Kyle Kaiser. And now your offensive award selections for quarterbacks. From Tabernacle, number 4, Landon Irvin. And from Russell Christian, number 9, Bo Morphice. And now your place kicker in the offensive award selections. From Russell Christian, number 15, Miles Coleman. And now your offensive award selections for running backs. From Tuscaloosa Christian, number 17, Elijah Frederick. From Russell Christian, number 1, Carter Simmons. From Jacksonville Christian, number 6, Arnez Hurd. From Russell Christian, number 7, Jace Wood. And from Cornerstone, number 10, Colby Harrison. And now your offensive award selections for receivers. From Russell Christian, number 8, Andrew Cole. From Russell Christian, number 15, Miles Coleman. And from Russell Christian, number 3, Colton Frapp. From Jacksonville Christian, number 1, Bryson Dowdy. And also from Jacksonville Christian, number 5, Dawson Wilkerson. And now your 2025 CFA Offensive Player of the Year from Cornerstone Christian, number 2, Jess Nelson. And your 2025 CFA Defensive Player of the Year from Russell Christian, number 10, Brett Gibson. And now your All-League MVP from Jacksonville Christian, number 11, Noah Lee. Let's give another round of applause for your 2025 CFA 8-Man All-League Award winners. And now your 2025 CFA Coach of the Year from Russell Christian, Tim Moore. And now your most valuable player for the 2025 CFA Championship game, Bo Morphice. And now let's give a big round of applause for this year's runner-up for the 2025 CFA season, the Jacksonville Christian Academy Thunder. And now, your champions for the 8th time in the last 9 seasons in the CFA, the Russell Christian Academy Warriors. as these guys celebrate, and rightfully so, with Coach Tim Moore. Coach, you told us this week that when you go into a program, you need to know what the culture is. After a win like this and 2 under your head coaching realm, what do you think the culture is for Russell Christian?
Well, I mean, we've got a culture of excellence, and that's what we strive for. You know, and our kids understand that. Our community understands that. And so, you know, when we come to work, and that's what it's all about. You know, if you're going to do what we keep trying to do, and we've been very blessed and successful, that's what it's about.
And Coach Miller was also very complimentary of you, saying that you know football, know that you both came from the public school systems, and that he knew it was going to be a tough battle coming into Russellville Christian, and you seem to say the same expressions. Even though the score looks different, it was a tough battle. Would you agree?
I do. You know, I never take anything away from Coach Miller in Jacksonville. They always come to play, and they always turn out a good product. And, you know, I have to think that we probably think alike in a lot of ways. But, you know, if you're going to do what we do and you're going to come out and compete, you know, and we have to set an expectation, and that's what it's about.
And I know that you said with your legacy you care about stuff off the field, but this Coach of the Year award, what does it mean to you to win that, especially in this season?
I'm very grateful for this. It means so much. I can't accept this without saying that if it wasn't for these young men, I wouldn't have it. You know, they have worked hard, and they have put us where we are. And so I'm blessed, and I'm grateful.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's good. That's closer. Yeah.
We welcome you to the post-game show here for the 2025 CFA Championship game. Spencer Thompson, Blake Biggs. Huge shout-out to all of our crew who are here tonight, including our amazing sideline reporter, Berkeley Mezzanotte, especially with that post-game interview with Bo Morphice. Incredible to get with the MVP, and just kills it. She's just phenomenal. And same to the rest of our crew, and Lee Baldwin, and also running the camera, and of course, James Shannon holding the glue together in that regard. You know, we've been on call for the CFA Championship several years in a row here, Blake, and all the games here at Tuscaloosa Christian. Last 2 years, we were saying in halftime, we were used to close games in the last couple of years. We even had that matchup between the Evangel Christian Lightning of Montgomery a couple of years back, too, that kept it close here. And it's been a mixture of games that are one-sided and close and everything. But as we mentioned throughout the game, Jacksonville Christian, it's not a discredit to them. It's just so tough against what Russell Christian built this season.
Yeah, and Russell Christian, I mean, they came out mad.
No,
I mean,
it looked
the streak
like-
was broken. And kind of like you said, you know, we haven't, it wasn't like games in the past
I don't know
where
if you can see that.
a complete, you know, Russell
Do you wanna
Christian like
redo?
54 to nothing or anything of that nature, or like 22 to 20, anything close like that. I thought it was pretty interesting because we still hit the 100-point mark.
Yes.
We're at 100 for both. So, you know, we did reach 100. Like I said earlier, it was kind of a shootout. You know, Noah Lee, I mean, it really was a story of Noah Lee just couldn't connect with his receivers, and that's fine. Just a lot of what-ifs for Jacksonville But, I mean, it's a lot of what-ifs, too, for Russell Christian. It's like, okay, you know, we're graduating these seniors. You know, what if the next group doesn't pan out? What if it does? The conference is wide open still.
Yes.
A lot of question marks going into next year, so
And especially
pretty unique.
Especially with 13 seniors graduating for Russell Christian, as we mentioned, 0 freshmen for their respective team. But I know you won't be joining us tomorrow from White House, but we've got a Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship matchup that not a lot of people expected. Freedom Cowboys pulling off the upset against South Haven in the semi. Christian Community managing to advance past the Tennessee Tigers. So it's myself, Eli Coronet, Berkeley Mezzanotte will be on the call for that one tomorrow in White House. Should really be a tremendous matchup and a good conclusion to most of the conference play in high school 8-man football.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it was Augusta Eagles. They beat GSIC today.
Yes.
Obviously, last night, Subiaco beat up on Corning, who's 9-0 at the time, out of Arkansas. Folks, we have a lot of 8-man football left to be done. Stay with us. I'll update it. So.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll go live at about 6:40, 6:45 Central Time from White House, Tennessee for all the pregame festivities and for the 2025 Southeastern Extreme Conference Championship between the Freedom Cowboys and the Christian Community Colts. But for right now, this is the final score that you have on there, 74-28, a matchup where Russell Christian gets their 8th CFA Championship in the last 9 seasons. For Blake Biggs, Berkeley Mezzanotte, our producer Eli Cornett, Director Lee Baldwin, all of the tremendously hard-working men and women that have made this run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Topset saying so long from Tuscaloosa. Russell Christian continues their dynasty in high school 8-man football.